Welcome to the Daily Roundup from the Reproductive Rights News Network at r2n2.org. I'm Peter Shin. Our top news. The Michigan Court of Appeals has ruled that a previous injunction barring enforcement of a 1931 state anti-abortion law applies only to the state's attorney general and not to county prosecutors. The state has 21 days to appeal, and the injunction remains in effect for county prosecutors in the interim. The situation is emblematic of the legal chaos enveloping reproductive rights in dozens of states. Elsewhere, the Indiana Senate over the weekend narrowly passed a strict anti-abortion bill with limited exceptions for rape and incest. The measure to strip Indiana citizens of their reproductive rights now heads to the Indiana House, where swift approval is expected by the GOP supermajority there. Farther west, the Kansas primary election on August 2nd will have a state constitutional amendment on the ballot that would ensure there is no right to abortion in the state. If approved, the amendment would allow the state's lawmakers to pass legislation further restricting reproductive rights in Kansas. The issue has divided Kansans, and the vote is expected to be close. Well, in a predictable development, doctors providing reproductive health care say helping people is more difficult than ever in the post-Dobbs environment, with many weighing medical necessity against potential legal jeopardy. One of them, Dr. Stephanie Mischel, a family practitioner in Texas, is doing what she can to provide needed care there, but says she's also contemplating leaving the state in order to practice without legal interference. Meanwhile, a Republican political consultant has taken to the pages of Politico to share her own abortion story and decry the lack of nuance in the debate about reproductive rights. The author, Samantha Zaleski, concedes she's worked her entire professional life for the party that would have made her abortion a crime, but she makes no mention of why she chose to do that. And a rural Iowa mother of 9 is explaining her decision to terminate her 11th pregnancy. Then 40-year-old Tamara Nunez, now 52, already had 9 children when she found herself unexpectedly pregnant. Nunez says her decision to terminate the extremely high-risk pregnancy enabled her to get help and eventually reunite her family. She's urging the Iowa legislature to forego measures that would further restrict abortion in the state. And finally, antiquarians consulted by PBS say Americans have been discussing ways to terminate unwanted pregnancies since the earliest days of the Republic, including in a popular book published by Benjamin Franklin that included an explicit herbal recipe to trigger a miscarriage. Yet some editions of a textbook for midwives from that same era warn against administering the herbal cocktail and describe abortion as murder. So, while the Supreme Court in Dobbs found, quote, a right to abortion is not deeply rooted in the nation's histories and traditions, close quote, historical evidence proves the desire of the American people to control their own bodies is as old as the nation itself. As always, you can find out more about these stories and find links to important reproductive health information at our website, r2n2.org. For the Reproductive Rights News Network, I'm Peter Shin.